Kia ora koutou. Hello and welcome. My name is Mai Al Sharaf, and I'm one of the international managers here at Waipapa Taumata Row, the University of Auckland. With me today, we have two of our current students, Sam and Carine, and our alumnus, Pok. They'll be sharing some of their experiences of being students at the university. If you have any questions for our panelists, please pop them in the chat and we'll answer as many of them as we can. Hello, Sam. We'll start with you. Could you tell us a little about where you're from and what inspired you to choose the University of Auckland?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me today. I'm from the United States, Texas in particular, and I just have heard about New Zealand before coming here and chatted with folk about the university and marine science studies and just absolutely loved what I heard and could not resist coming over.
Amazing, I love that, Sam. Hi everyone, my name is Carine Umutoniwase. I am from Kenya in East Africa. I think for me, I really hadn't heard about University of Auckland, not even Uni of Auckland, just New Zealand as a country. But I'd worked with a Kiwi before back home who was doing some research, and I reached out to her because I was looking for somewhere different, somewhere where it would give me like an adventure and some calm and peace. So I reached out to her. She was like, University of Auckland, try and apply. I checked out the ranking. It was good. Loved some of the supervisors who were already there, and they were passionate about my work as well. And I applied, and here we are. Yeah.
That's awesome. Hello everyone, my name is Pok Wei Heng. I'm originally from Singapore. What really drew me in, I think, about New Zealand, I remember coming in as a tourist in like 2013, and it was the kindness of its people, and I knew I would be in good hands in this place. And at the same time, I think it's also the focus on academic excellence with the university, right? And I knew that I'd be getting an education with rigor, and that I would yeah, be in for a really great experience at the university, and that's kind of what drew me in.
Yeah. And what was your first impression when you got here as a student and not a tourist?
Yeah, oh, I remember that first day when I just kind of like plopped off a plane, was trying to find my way, you know, like everything is fresh and everything is new and different. But, you know, again, I think there's something quite magical about the people here. I felt really welcomed from day one, you know, like obviously you take time to get used to the place, but I felt like the staff were incredibly helpful and kind. I had to get my university card and all the other things, and they just guided me through step by step. It was pretty seamless, yeah. I think. Yeah.
And for you, Carine, you haven't visited New Zealand before coming here as a student. What was that like?
First of all, it was the longest flight I've had to take. I'm like, why is this place so far? My mom did think that I was running away from home, to be fair. But I think I got off the plane and was like, ooh, I love the tribal art because I'm really into like different types of art and what it means, or the cultural representation that it, you know, it communicates and speaks. And then I was like, God damn, it's cold. It was honestly, it was just my first impression, and but I love that it was seamless. Again, being an international student, arriving in a place that I do not know how things work. You know, I didn't have like the traditional visa stamped in my passport. They're like, oh, it's all good, just walk through customs and, you know, it's gonna be chill. And I got there and I'm like, Mom, I made it. Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh, that's amazing. I think my mom thought I was running away from home too, especially when I didn't come back after being here. I loved getting off the plane and just being able to go. Hopped on a bus and stopped at a yoga shop on the way up to my flat and had a yoga class after a long flight, 13 hours or something like this. And then later took a coastal walk, and that's one of my favorite things about Auckland and its wider regions too, that we have these coastal walks along the beaches that are just absolutely stunning, and so many good bays for you to pop into and have a swim if you like, or just a walk on the beach. Beautiful place.
That's awesome. I've done one of those. They're really scenic. It's awesome.
Yeah.
To do them.
Yeah.
Cool. So in terms of cultural differences, you all come from different parts of the world. What was the experience of the culture in New Zealand? What was the experience of New Zealand's culture and how that was different from your home?
Yeah. That's a great question. I love speaking to this. As a marine scientist, I study plastic pollution effects on our marine ecosystems, and I feel that coming from the United States, I see a lot of trash and broken waste management systems, but coming to New Zealand was actually really cool, an eye-opener in that this country is already implementing so many ways to reduce plastic waste with different alternatives and more eco-friendly products. I loved that about the culture. I'm also gluten-free, which I was worried to come over here because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to eat anything. Super easy. Most of the places that I go, easy to eat things. What about yourself, Carine?
I think for me it was also a bit of a shock. First of all, I had to adjust to the fact that for a big chunk of my life, I was part of the majority, and I was moving to a country where I would be a minority. So I think I found comfort in, looking up Maori culture and looking at how, that relates to the tribes back home. So I really loved, one of the first really cool things that I got to do when I was up with my host families in Mangawhai was visit Bream Bay College. So they invited me to just share a little bit more about Africa, because again, there's not a lot known about Africa, and I went and presented, and they ended up giving me performing like a haka, and I was like, oh my god, this is my first haka, this is so amazing. I was so humbled and blown away. But I love the diversity, honestly. I love the kindness of the people. Systems work, like transport, I do not have to it's different from back home. Yeah, it's just been amazing, honestly, and I'm grateful for the experience. Yeah.
I feel like coming from Singapore, it's really dense, it's bustling, and people cross by you all the time. I think there is a pace of life that is really quite comfortable and comforting about Auckland. I think it's a great, I've grown my work relationships and my my friendships with friends through coffee, through having really great chats. That I think that's something that's really great. It's sort of like, this is a space where I felt genuinely welcomed into, and I could actually slow down and understand and build relationships around me. And yeah, I think that's what makes New Zealand. It's all about relationships.
Yeah. That's a very good point, and really speaks to New Zealand's culture as a whole. But Sam made a very important comment around food. And so I'm very interested in hearing more about all of your experiences with food, what you expected, and what was it like when you first got here and started exploring the food options. Pok, for you, what was that like?
Yeah, I think I was quite surprised. I remember when I was here as a tourist in 2013, and there was a Thai place called Mai Thai, and my dad was tasting it, and he got really confused because he was like, why are we having such good Thai food in New Zealand? Like, I did not think this was possible. And I think that kind of speaks to the actual food diversity that we see in Auckland. Like, Auckland is a super diverse city, like you have there's just such a great plethora of options. I love hopping down to get my Malaysian food. That speaks to my culture, but at the same time, like many different options. We have different streets that are catered to, like to different food styles, and different cuisines. I don't think you'll be bored here.
So true. Yeah. I think the diversity here is what shocked me a lot, and then mostly because first of all, I love the night market scene here. It is amazing. I think that's, if you want to see the versatility or diversity of cuisines in Auckland, like just visit any night market. That would be super awesome. But my friends were making fun of me because back home we don't eat a lot of seafood or like raw food. So sushi, like I got to get into sushi when I got here. And they're like, you've never had sushi? I'm like, yeah, no, we do not have it back home. And they're like, what about raw octopus? I'm like, okay, cool, let's take it easy and slow down. But I really love that diversity. And I'm trying to challenge myself because it's different, like try different cuisines. My mom is always like, what is that? She heard me have prawns. She was like, what is that? Are you going to be okay? Remember your stomach, okay? I'm like, okay, thanks, Mom. But yeah, enough about that. What she said.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I think for me, veggie gardening is something that I've been getting into that I had not done in the United States. And that's huge here, especially where I stay in northern Auckland area, so up at the Lee campus, and everyone has a veggie garden, and it's just like healthy and lovely and nice to be a part of. I think it really speaks to the cultural dynamics as well, how Maori people are so connected to the land that they live on that they use it, and it's important to them. And yeah, it's very good.
You guys, we have a question from the audience, and it's, if you could describe your student life experience in 3 words, what would they be?
That's a tough one. I would say interdisciplinary, adventurous, I don't know a third one. Help me.
I'll piggyback on the adventurous and add like enlightening, fun, and challenging though. Like I'm not
challenging.
Yeah.
Like
How about you, Pok?
I thought of dynamic, but also your choice. Like it's your own journey, or like what you want to make out of it. Yeah.
That's beautiful. So Sam and Carine, you're both doing research. What has that research experience been like at the university?
Unlike any other, to be honest. The University of Auckland and the people that I've met here have a large network, not just within the university, but universities connected inside New Zealand, but also internationally. I cannot believe the extent of my network today from day one when I started here.
Amazing. I think for me it's more or less the same, and I just started my 2nd year, and so I've just finished my confirmation review. One of the biggest highlights I think for my first year in regards to research was participating in the 3-minute thesis research competition, which challenged me to sort of like reduce my whole proposal into 3 minutes and explain what the hell I'm trying to do with it. But I love that challenge and I love the experience because it enabled me to also share with other PhD students, sort of like learn from their journey. And I love that the uni encourages that, peer learning amongst early career researchers. I really love that aspect. And the fact that also research for impact is encouraged. It's not just about us doing research so that it can stay on the bookshelves, like it doesn't inform impact or improve, it doesn't inform better systems or lives or products and stuff like that. So I'm really, really keen to also follow that up, and the fact that the uni supports that is amazing.
Yeah, you both are making a huge impact in the world with your research, and it's absolutely incredible that the university provides you with that platform. Carine, you mentioned the 3-minute thesis. Can you tell us a little more about other engagements that you've had on campus in terms of student clubs or student associations? What else have you been part of?
Oh my God, honestly not much, because when I got here I was like 4 months late into my program, so I've been stuck behind my desktop for quite a but again, that's the experience. But I've honestly been humbled enough to be to join the postgraduate student association executive team at Epsom campus, just to help organize events and academic events and casual fun events for students. Every second week also we hang out at the PhD oversharing sessions at Galbraith Ale, just invite PhD students to share about their work and then network at the same time. And what else? Oh, badminton. Yeah, we have a badminton thing going on at Epsom. It's just always competitive every Wednesday. Smack talk, like just trash talk, just fun.
That's good. That sounds like a lot of the things we got going on at the Lee campus. Cool. In our social club up there, we have softball, touch rugby, beach volleyball. I mean, it's just unreal the amount of things that you can do up there in a space that maybe feels so disconnected, out on its own, but good stuff to be a part of.
You should definitely come up there.
Yeah, anytime.
And Pok, what has your engagement with the university's student clubs been like?
Yeah, I feel like the undergraduate sort of experience is a bit different. I think I've had a lot of fun engaging with just the many different clubs that we have on offer here. You have like you have social clubs and recreational clubs, you know, so in the sports, in the arts, in music. But I think there are also like more professional skills developing clubs, you know, like I was the president of Impact Consulting Group, which is all about pro bono consulting for social enterprises and nonprofits. And so there is that space if you want to develop these skills, right, and to get you kind of, I guess, future ready. Yeah, I think it, and again, it's your journey, right? It's what you want to make out of it. And I personally think that the choices are out there. You know, we have these yearly kind of club roadshows where you kind of see what every club is able to offer you, and that's the best time to actually just walk down and be like, that's really cool. I want to join that because I want to learn about this that I've never even thought of. You know, like I've had friends who haven't never taken Mandarin and they're like, I'm going to join a conversational Mandarin club, you know, and they're just like, we're just going to try something new. And I think that's really fun and interesting.
Yeah, and what has been your favorite club or
don't make me choose.
group?
I work in sustainability and human rights, so I think one of the kind of like best student clubs currently is a Sustainable Future Collective. It's my own personal bias, but it's really about looking at sustainability through what we can do as everyday consumers, what we can do as students, you know, like how can we ask for different meaningful shifts in our curriculum, you know, that embrace a sustainable future. And I think it's just really cool. It's this new wave of we want to lead lives of impact and we want to lead lives that are purposeful and what's being driven, you know. So yeah, that's my hot take.
I know, Pok, you've also engaged in the sustainability space within the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Do you want to tell us a little about that?
It's really cool because that's when we first met and you were kind of like facilitating some of those sessions. Well, I think the Center of Innovation and Entrepreneurship, or I'll just abbreviate that to CIE, has been absolutely exciting and thrilling. Like there are all sorts of different competitions. You know, I came in not knowing what a startup was, not knowing what capital was, not knowing how to form a business plan, and you have these like different competitions that focus on like. Let me think. I remember there was the 100K challenge. That's all about come up with a proposal of an impactful idea. You know, like why should we invest in that? You know, like what's your next idea that can take the world by storm? But at the same time, there's guidance given along that journey. I think that's just powerful. It's really empowering. Like as someone who didn't even think of of launching a startup, it gave me the tools to think quite holistically about what entrepreneurship was, what social entrepreneurship looked like, and how we can make a profit and yet do good, right? That's what we're here for.
And I can see that, you know, you've got that entrepreneurial mindset embedded in everything, even while you're sharing your story with us. And you're currently a sustainability consultant, right? How did your journey to find a job in New Zealand, what was that like? Yeah,
that is such an interesting question. One of the biggest things I had to, I guess, learn and unlearn is that New Zealand is incredibly relational, and academics are incredibly important, but they're not the end all and be all. They're not the final stage. It's all about making meaningful relationships, and it's about understanding what am I interested in, what does the industry want from me, and how can I bridge that gap. You know, like I feel that it's not about just us studying, it's also about I've studied, I've joined the clubs, I've developed all these skills, here's the pathway and this is what I want to do now, right? So I felt like that was such a very different mindset, and because it's no longer about grades. I think our world is becoming really complex. It's becoming also really exciting because, you know, it's not just about grades. They're important, but like there are so many pathways out there for you, and yeah, I love how. You know, we talked about interdisciplinary. I love how New Zealand is embracing multiple disciplines and how you can study something and that can land you somewhere completely different. I studied accounting and supply chain. I did not think I was going to be in climate change or working on sustainability, right? But it's about how do I use those meaningful skills, that those problem-solving skills, the computational, the ability to handle numbers and complex cases. How do I transfer that into something that's meaningful for the world, right? And I think,
and how did the university help you? You know, get to that point, gain those skills.
Yeah, can I do a shout out? I would do a shout I would like to do a shout out to Peta and Tamsin from the business school. They have been absolutely invaluable. I remember when they first looked at my CV and they rejected the entire thing. I remember when they gave such invaluable advice on what the job market was looking like, what you can do to put yourself as a favorable candidate. You know, I think it's all about looking for the right amount of help. The university just has tons of resources. We also have CDES, which is, you're gonna have to help me out there.
Career Development and Employment Services.
There we go. So invaluable. They've been really cool in just providing all the help that you need. And I think especially for international students, you're new to this place, you don't quite know how the job market works, you don't quite know what it means to be employable. They're here to, again, plug in that gap, right? Like, we're starting here, we're gonna get you there. And so they've been really helpful.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Pok. Now, I've got a final question to wrap up our conversation today, and that is, for the audience that are watching, if you have one piece of advice to give, what would that be?
I would say just take a risk. I know that moving country might be scary. There might be a lot you're thinking about and you need to deal with, but you'll do it. And the people around you will help you. Like, we've all received help along the way. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience, really, that you just can't leave. You take the risk.
Amazing. I love that. And mine is close to that as well. I think it's just believe in yourself, you know, just believe in yourself and what you want to do and the purpose which you intend to, you know, fulfill, and know that, like you said, the safety nets. I think that's one of the biggest things I'm honestly grateful for, even reflecting over the last 10 months, the fact that I have not felt alone, even having had to leave everything, just believing that it's going to be okay and just taking one step at a time. So for me to just take that one brave step at a time and keep going, remember to breathe, remember to believe yourself, and just cross over.
I would leave with a note that, you know, like, we talk a lot about these rising trends. There's AI and there's technology, and yes, it's important, but I believe the future is people. I think it's important that we ground ourselves that the future is all about people. It's about relationships, you know, like, and so, like, take the plunge, come to a completely new place. You will be supported here, you know, like, and the people are ready to receive you. This, I think it's such an exciting opportunity to actually go to somewhere that, you know, like, you don't know anyone. Like, you could, it's like starting over again, like on a whole new lease of life. Like, what new adventures are you going to take? You know, what new experiences will you be open to? Like, the possibility is right there in front of you. So.
And Sam, tell us what it's like living on the Lee Marine Lab.
Oh, it's super exciting. The lab is just off the first marine reserve in New Zealand, and you can literally jump out into the water surrounded by snapper and stingray, you name it. Just in an hour of your day, go out and have a swim, walk on the beach, have a play, whatever you like. It's absolutely stunning. The people are there. Are amazing and interactive with the local community. So we have the Marine Discovery Center that's just next to it, where we can do educational and outreach events of sorts, getting connected with the local community and communities from the city and even abroad. We have the space and the capacity to hold people there if they want to come up for a field trip or lab experience, whatever it may be. It's just unreal. Some days I can't believe that I work there.
And can you tell us a little about the area itself? So you've got access to a supermarket, you know, restaurants, that sort of thing?
Maybe, depending on the day. We have 3 places that you can eat in Lee: a library, a fire station. That's good. You need that. The necessities, and actually a general store that you can buy milk, bread, ice cream during the summer. Always a good choice.
Necessities.
Yeah, but local shops for larger varieties of things that you might need are just within 10, 15, 20 minutes away. And even if you wanted to just go up to the Marine Lab for a day, you could get there from the city within an hour to an hour and a half, depending on traffic.
Amazing. So the University of Auckland is based in the heart of the city. Can you tell us a little about your experiences of adventuring and exploring the city and what your favorite places are?
Yeah.
Amazing. So I'm based at the Epsom campus. That's a little bit off the city campus. But honestly, I've loved the little I've done. I've loved being down at the viaduct. It's really cool. A lot of stuff you can do there. Silo Park. K Road is always buzzing, artsy. I know, right? Like, yeah, but I need to stay away from K Road. Anyway, and I've been to Devonport as well. And yesterday I managed to go to Kelly Tartan's aquarium. That was mind blowing. I loved it. Yeah. What about you, Pok?
Yeah, oh, that's really awesome. I love how, like, you know, if you go down like Simon Street, it's just one street, and like if you look at the left and the right, that's the university. Like the university truly is at the heart of the city. There's some really, you know, like I think our waterfront is stellar. It's pristine and it's beautiful. It's great for outdoor eating. It's great for restaurant dining. You also have like many exciting different suburbs like Karangahape Road or K Road. It's known for its great diversity, its art. You also have like Mount Eden and Dominion Road, which is really known for like Chinese cuisine. And there's just so much that's happening. I think like the city center. Oh, and where I work right now, Britomart, is absolutely beautiful. It's like a art meets like commercial kind of precinct. I love that place. I love coming to the city in that space particularly. It's gorgeous. It's full of bustling life.
Yeah. And Carine, you mentioned Devonport. So you grab a ferry from downtown and it's only about a 15-minute ferry ride.
And the ferry ride is amazing, and you can just do a walk across the coastline, and you know, you can dip, you can swim. It was my first time there. I got to see like this big anchor, this big sailboats that were being painted. I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. But yeah, it's amazing experience.
Yeah. And Pok, have you taken the ferry across to Waiheke?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just pretty profound how proximate Auckland, you know, like the city is to all these different islands, right? Like you have Devonport, you have Waiheke, which is known for its wine estates, vineyards, restaurant dining, al fresco. You know, like Great Barrier Island is where you can go for, you know, like stargazing, and it's absolutely pristine and beautiful. You have, like there's just so many different spaces that you can be in.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, thank you guys so much once again. Thank you for your perspectives, your insights, your candid responses, and I do genuinely think that our audience here have gained so much from all your experiences that you've shared with us. So once again, thank you for your time. Thank you all for tuning in. If you have any more questions about studying at the University of Auckland, please feel free to reach out to us in the chat or via email.